G'day, today we're going to have a look at the Mini Motorways level of Munich and see if we can get to 2000 in this one. I've had a little bit of trouble with this guy. Like Tokyo, I jumped in and I've come back to him. I already don't like this setup, but we'll see how we go. Now, what I do find is that with this really early part, you get two different types of factories, and they're usually sort of top and bottom. And so if we're laid out like this, I'm getting the vibes that we're going to get a factory down here with some houses up here. And if that's the case, I'd consider restarting. I think that with this one, that's a deal breaker. We want to have our sort of red guy and our blue guys separated at the start. I'm pretty sure the second one will be blue. But usually if you can have it where, yeah, exactly like that. Exactly like that. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to say restart. That's a little bit better. We're now both sort of on the bottom. And we can really work them along the bottom. And so really blue's got no option but to have both. Well, we'll give it no option. Actually no, we want our red houses built there. Hopefully it's got no option to build them down there. In fact, I don't think they're going to give us any more houses, so we'll stack the deck in our favor. Where are you going to put your houses now, buddy? It's more like it. Alright, so now we'll move those so red can now have this spot back. I guarantee they're going to put a red factory up here or something just to really... It knows when we're trying to manipulate it. Now, the issues that I feel I've had with this level, and when I say I've played it a few times, is I feel that my problem has been late game motorways. There's definitely a certain point that I reach in levels where motorways becomes the name of the game. You've built your layout and now you have to survive by working out where there's congestion and how could a motorway just jump some cars from one spot to another to reduce that congestion. And I've found that in the times that I've played this where I've done alright, I've just not gotten late game motorways, and it has hurt me. Now, this isn't a good setup either. We don't want this as a late game situation. Is going to be bad. If these two guys continue to run like this, it means that there's going to be congestion at this corner here, and there's going to be congestion in this bottleneck of all the houses coming out. So we want to try and do something about this. Potentially late game will be that we have a motorway sort of connecting to this one, so that this bridge is solely for this guy. But we'll see how we go. I'm of the logic in this level that you take a motorway every time you see one. It's, for some reason, I'm adamant in my mind motorways are harder to come by in Munich. I mean, clearly the Germans are famously not inventors and pushing the boundaries. Famously, that surely Munich has nothing. They're just dirt roads and horses and carts, I imagine. They probably even call themselves Munich as opposed to Munich. They don't pronounce it properly. Anyone listening to this who is from Munich, I apologize. Okay, let's pause for a second. Now that's pretty mean. Two back-to-back ones connecting two existing roads. It's just rude. So what we'll do is we'll connect this guy up here. We will just reconnect him that way. And these two guys, well, this guy here will, this guy here, we're going to swing through like that to get to him. And though I don't know, I think from the times I've played this level, white is actually the one that's more likely to be on the outside over here. So maybe I've changed my vote. Maybe what we'll do is we'll send this guy here and go like that. Because I think that white is more likely going to be over here, and I think that these guys are more likely going to be along here. Now, speaking of being along here, I don't want anything on that island. Unlike Tokyo, it doesn't seem like the island is used for like one single color. It seems like a few different colors may actually occupy that island. And so with that in mind, there's no use to it. It's such a small area that you're not going to spend the time to make any roads or anything connect from it. The only thing that you may do is if you've got enough bridges like I've managed to end up with at the start here, you may run something straight across it because say I've got these houses here and then I've got a purple factory on this side, and if that was the case, I can clear out this sort of blockage that I've made myself, and then in endgame, if you desperately need stuff, you've just got this, you can just pull it up. Cool. Alright, so there's our first motorway. Now this is a kind of nice layout that we've got here. I'm going to expand White's journey a slight bit again, because it now means that we've got half of our cars are on this side, so that if congestion does start to come to this line, these guys can take care of this guy, these ones can take care of this guy, and that intersection doesn't actually have to be used. Ideally, if I'd say at least 5 houses here and 5 houses here, I would 100% split that like that now. Alright, so we will bring this guy and he will take advantage of that straight across there. I do have a motorway that I could use too, but I don't mind that at the moment. We can always adjust it. A motorway, if we're not using the motorway at all, we can certainly just chuck it in there to implement it immediately at any point. The one thing I've found is I've played this game long enough that I can now hear the ticking the clock makes, so that I don't even have to look at the clock to know when Sunday's about to come. I don't know if you've noticed that. You can hear it tick, 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 as it approaches. And I'm now at that level of having played this. Does it make me happy? No, it doesn't make me unhappy. Not the biggest fan of what I've set up here. I'm actually going to split him off that way a bit more. Run out of roads, so guess who gets to come back to the party? Still run out of roads. Alright, we'll just steal from him for the time being. There's that ticking. We'll take the bridge, because I have used all my bridges. Now I'm just going to slightly adjust this road, just so that there's a little bit more of a clear indication of where that guy connects. Now this is a bad setup at the moment, absolutely bad for white. Now hopefully this goes to pink here, but for white, what we have is we have a bottleneck of houses in the one spot, all connecting all connecting to a, there you go, useless houses alert. Alright, what we'll do is we'll shift that guy to face that way, so then they can connect around that way, and we will get these guys to go do that. Yeah, in fact, I might have jumped the gun there actually. Let's give that job to these guys, because these guys can just help out the original factory. Okay. So, if I had enough tiles, what I would consider doing is actually splitting this into two, sending these top 4 guys on a road that runs over the top and connects down in here. Potentially I could use this as well. I won't do it just yet. Cool, another motorway. But we will start to consider what our most urgent issues are. Now, just looking at the way that these guys are operating, there's no real rhyme and reason to who's going to take priority of what. How many? I've got 2 bridges as well. And I need white houses, and they are just wasting themselves on this island. But if we were to get one more in that area, let's move them that way so they're in a, let's go that way. So what direction do I want? So one house there. Now what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to change the layout here. I'm going to put another road there because I want them to split. I want half of these guys to consider themselves closer to this guy, and I want the other half to consider them closer to him, so that these guys actually don't have to crisscross at all. These guys here can go that way, these guys here can go that way. Now if I get a community here, it actually might allow me to get rid of this this guy. I did get my wish of a 3rd white house there. I'll take the bridge. Now that guy up there, there's nothing I can really do with him. A few white houses down here, so we can go connect these guys up to relieve a bit of the stress on this. And I am going to try and just build across here. So we'll try and make it as short as possible. This is really ugly. Okay. So what this will hopefully do is make these 4 guys go to this one. No, he's going there. The idea is to reduce the amount of cars that need to continue on to this guy, sort of create its efficiency. Now luckily this amount of houses, these guys here, should hopefully help that guy's efficiency. And well, they're making us use all of our built-up road here, but we can remember that we do have 2 motorways still in hand at the moment. So let's get him to point out that way. If I can get, say, 4 houses down here that are red, I think that I will give that a motorway to go address this guy. Okay, so we now have this guy here. So we will just create this straight across there for now. Make him face a bit more direct down. These 2 white guys here can actually operate within this. Run out of road tiles. We'll take the motorway again. Alright, so we're building up to 800 here. We really do have the motorway luxury to start attempting to just get anyone anywhere that we think is going to be beneficial. So, which one do we want to address? We'll address this one back here. So motorway from there to there. We're going to get rid of this. Oh, we've got another one up there. And we are going to tell these guys to take a motorway from there to here. We'll actually shift it a little bit closer to this guy. Now what that means is that purple and white actually don't have to intermix to get to these locations. Pink will come up, did I say purple? Sorry, pink. Pink will come up and go in here and then head back out that way. White will go in the top and go back out that way as well. Blue. So actually we'll swing this way. We'll give these two guys here. It would be nice if they got a few more friends, but we'll just go with them for now. To hopefully relieve the stress of this. Now it always looks a little bit worse when you first do it, because you've just suddenly surged every car that was available in this area to there. So this intersection is definitely looking awful. But that's alright, that should hopefully clean itself up in a moment. Any moment now. Any moment now. Okay, cool. Well, we've got a few extra reds here. Now, red doesn't really seem to be a problem. Let's think about blue. What can we do? Oh, cool. Well, we've got another blue house down here. Now, my temptation is to just cut these guys off from accessing it. Is that going to sink me? I don't like these guys that are coming from here to go up there and address that. That's definitely inefficient. But there's only 4 houses here and there's 4 houses here, so there's no clean split either side to say, alright, you are the guys that should be attempting to fix this. There's now 4 there too. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this out. I'm going to say, you guys address them, you guys get out of this, and you 4 address this. Because I think that the inefficiency of there being so many guys there is actually the problem, not the idea that 4 houses are taking care of either of them. If we can get all these roads to clear out, I think we're going to be better off. Now we are still a long way from... Cool, alright, so this is house 5 there, and I think that I'm going to have to claim this house 5 too. So we will add him to the mix. And you can see that even though there's now less houses attached, that's sort of a slightly more efficient way. Now we've got this red dude suddenly appeared. Do we have anyone looking after him? Now somehow there's some red cars that have got on there. I guess it's these guys down here. Thank you very much, you guys. And we do have a motorway. So what we will do is we will shift these connectors. We will get these guys to operate around him. And it'd be nice if I could move that 1 square. In fact, what we'll do is we'll just move this guy out of the mix. We can just come down this way. Give them a nice close option for that. So they've got that, and then these guys down here. Now the problem is that these guys down here are actually all in use. It's these guys over here that actually aren't having to do any work anymore. So we'll put this at the back of their area and send them that way. Now, this is another actual real problem that we've got over here. Okay, solution. This road here isn't being used by anyone. These guys can handle the requirements of this pink, and you can see that by how I can just sort of delete that without effort. The only one using it is actually these red guys to go and try and help with that. So we'll add him to that line too. So what we can do is add these guys to this line, which also isn't currently being used because these guys have been cut off because they were actually just creating inefficiency in that line. Now currently they're not even, oh, idiot, they're not even connected. Alright. I was going to say currently they're not even needed. They are needed, they're just not aware they need how to get there. Okay. Cool. So what we can do is we can then just make a straight line up there, and these four guys here can now go up there. Now, this has been a very long week, and hopefully we get another motorway this weekend, because I think White's going to need it. Yeah, alright, we'll take the road. Now, we've got a lot of White down here, so it's suggesting to me that White's going to need help somewhere. Yeah, that's definitely going to need addressing. But luckily we've got White on coming at either end of this thing at the moment. Red's definitely overflowing a bit. Blue's not looking great. One thing that happens in this game as well, I'm not sure if I've mentioned, is that the more of a type of building you have, a type of color you have, seemingly the slower that they actually issue out. So what I mean by that is, I'm just going to swap these two guys to face that way to try and release the pressure in this intersection. There's not a lot of pink guys over here, are there? What can we do about that? Red can't help because they're already underwater. There's 6 guys. Oh no, I was going to say there's 6 guys here, so why aren't they taking care of this? And the answer is because they're also taking care of this guy. But what I think I should do is, again, I'll get rid of that, connect those guys. So that's this guy's job, just to do that and try and get rid of some of that congestion. Okay. Now, where do we need to address? What was I talking about? Pink. Pink needs something to address it. Okay, red's definitely using that. These guys are using that, but not that much. I mean, they've blocked this off. That's cold. I didn't even notice that. What we could do, we can move this to this neighborhood here and move that to we'll go to the one that's actually in danger. And then these guys, we'll get him to look down, and then that guy can go there, and then that guy can go there. Connecting to this road, then these guys can sneak through there. Now hopefully, basically we're up to 1700 here, so the aim of the game, or the name of the game rather at this point, is survival. Can we survive until we hit 2000? Now red is currently saying not likely. So what I think we need to do is cut off red here. So to these 4 guys, you've got to deal with this. So to these guys, you've got to deal with that. Let this guy get in on the action, and this guy. And just pray that we can make another 150. Now this pink here is looking a bit rocky too. So what we will do is, just as an absolute band-aid, can we send him? Or is that going to end up with too many people from over here? Where do we have anyone available sitting in a pink house that's not doing anything? Not sure there's anyone anywhere. Also, I didn't notice, this one's on me, I didn't notice that this came up. So I mean, there's white guys are going through here to try and get there, which is my mistake too. Now, hopefully that doesn't cost me the game. Alright, so pink down here is looking bad. I just don't think we have enough pink houses. I don't think we're going to make it at this rate. I think we need someone to get to here. And there's no one I can see currently sitting inside a pink house that isn't on the road. Yes, we've got a few cars coming in to slow it down. At least I've taken it down to white. This guy here's a bit in trouble. 1950. Alright, let's just connect that there. And just hope someone decides to use it to speed up even one guy, because 1990, oh, 2000, there we go, just under the wire, because I reckon that guy's about to sink. Oh, nice and tight, that one. That is a tricky one. And I think one of the parts of it is that you do get a lot of those double warehouses, seemingly more than others. You can see how much I relied on motorways at the end there. So definitely getting motorways anytime they come up as an option in that one, I actually think is the way to go. Because I never found that I have too often in that one where I run out of tiles. I seem to have a lot of tiles at the end. So good luck with that one. Any questions or comments, feel free to check them below. Till next time, see you later.